So finally, this weekend, Josh Kelly versus David Avanesyan. It's going to happen live on Sky. Let's talk about it. Josh Kelly versus David Avanesyan. You know, one of the things I like about Adam Booth, or the way he comes across, he always comes across as kind of like this very mysterious type of character. Back in the days of David Hayes, who used to be called as the Dark Lord, things he used to do was very unconventional. I always remember when hold on a second, just hear myself in the background there. Never a good thing. But yeah, back in the day, we used to know him as the Dark Lord, and you know what he did with George Groves. When George Groves was told to be calm in the fight, he'd come out in blue, and then when he wanted George to go and charge out, he'd have George in red, and you know all the things with him and David Hay, the Hay and Booth adventures with Groves used to be in the interviews and stuff. Those were good days, all good days with Adam Booth. And I think he's got a degree in psychology or something like that. Psychology or criminology. I think it might be psychology. And I like Adam Booth. I think he's a good boxing coach. I like him. As with everybody, they have good nights and they have not so good nights. The David Hay one with Klitschko wasn't great. The Mike Perez one wasn't fantastic. When Mike Perez could have beaten Brian Jennings that night, and he kind of told Mike Perez to kind of calm down. And the instructions he gave Andy Lee were horrendous against Billy Joe Saunders. He tried to get Andy Lee to box against Billy Joe Saunders instead of actually telling Andy Lee, who was the puncher, to go and fight Billy Joe Saunders and put pressure on him. So, you know, so Booth has had his, as with all trainers, and with us all, we're human beings, sometimes we get it or fall short of the mark. But the most mysterious thing about Adam Booth, actually, is the statement he keeps making over and over and over again. I don't know if it's Adam Booth just trying to sell the Josh Kelly story up, or he really believes the hype. He actually believes that Josh Kelly is the best fighter he's ever worked with. Well, I'm telling you now, Adam, I don't know if you're just doing it to be a salesman or I don't know what you're seeing, but I'm sorry. On the evidence of what I've seen so far of Josh Kelly, he's not better than David Hay, former unified cruiserweight champion and heavyweight champion of the world. But I don't see it, sorry. Josh Kelly don't punch nowhere near as hard as Hay or Groves. Really, you know, I don't even think Josh Kelly could even be in the ring with a guy as good as Carl Froch and be competitive. I just don't. I just don't. Flat out, I don't. It's not I don't like Josh Kelly or I think Josh Kelly. I just think that we need to come back down to earth about Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly got brutally exposed by Ray Robinson. Go back and watch the fight. Ray Robinson exposed Josh Kelly, exposed him. One paced. And when Ray Robinson put the pressure on Josh Kelly and he backed him up and he put him against the ropes, he didn't know what to do. Climbing on the ropes, hands down by the side, you know, all this sort of showboat and still getting clocked. Listen, he may have matured as a fighter. And Adam Booth probably was right to have pulled him out of that fight against David Avanesyan back then. I think they were going to fight at night and something happened and Kelly pulled out the fight or whatever, he wasn't well or whatever the excuse was. Just like when I said all those years back about David Hay and Deontay Wilder, and I said Deontay Wilder caused David Hay serious damage in the sparring sessions, and that's the reason why Hay never took the fight against Fury. That's why I said it was. And Booth, I thought, cut Nick David over the eye and say, he got cut in sparring. No, Deontay landed some of them big right hands on David. That's what I suspected happened. But they said, conspiracy theorists. Yeah, I remember you saying that, Adam. Conspiracy theorists and all this stuff. Yeah, I know, Adam, you said that while you're in your little bubble, while you're in the bubble at the moment. I know you said that. But I said the fight will never happen. It didn't happen, did it, Adam? We didn't get David Haye versus Tyson Fury, did we, Adam? And I said the fight would never happen. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Fight didn't happen, did it, Adam? So here we are, 2021. As far as I'm concerned, Josh Kelly's already been beaten by Ray Robinson. Because he's not affiliated with any big promoter, Josh Kelly got the fight on points. But he did not beat Ray Robinson. He did not beat Ray Robinson. Right? Anybody, even Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles can see that he was clearly beaten on the night. He can't fight on the inside. He cannot fight with being backed up against ropes. And he's not a big puncher. He's got an American type style, but the American came along and hustled him. Now, David Avanesyan, from what I've seen of him, I saw him fight against Lamont Peterson. And Lamont Peterson's good on the inside. And Avanesyan was in there with Lamont Peterson, punch for punch with Lamont Peterson. Now, Josh Kelly is not a better fighter than Shane Mosley. And he's certainly damn well not a better fighter. He's not a bigger puncher than Shane Mosley. And he's damn well not a better fighter than Lamont Peterson. You're crazy. So, Josh Kelly better hope that in the time out during COVID, that he's got bigger and he's got stronger, and somehow or the other he can find the punching power to get rid of Avanesyan. Because you know what I like about Avanesyan? What I like about him is when I looked at this guy, I thought, you know what? This guy gets down to business, gets down to work. He's like, you know, when you go around a table and you get some people that do business and they like to talk a lot, blah, 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 blah. And you got other guys that just, what's the bottom line? All right, that's the bottom line. Right, okay. How much am I going to pay you? I'll pay you money. Bam, I'm gone. That's it. They still do business and they're out of there. Avanesyan is just business. When he goes about business, first round, bang, he's out there and he's on you. And he's going to throw his punches and he's going about his business. Systematical, he goes about his business. And if you allow him to get on top of you, that's trouble. And the difference between Ray Robinson and Avanesyan is that Avanesyan probably has a little bit more pop than Ray Robinson. And Avanesyan probably is a little better on the inside than Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson's cute and he's a good boxer, but I think Avanesyan just might be a little better than Ray Robinson on the inside. And if Avanesyan can get on the inside of Kelly and keep Kelly's back against the ropes, it's going to be another British fighter that's going to have their zero popped. This Avanesyan fight, stylistically, is a nightmare for Kelly because Avanesyan can sit in the pocket and he's a better fighter in the pocket. You've seen Josh Kelly against Ray Robinson. And on that night, Josh Kelly, nobody can come and tell me, Josh Kelly was he was saving it in the tank and Josh Kelly was looking to do a number on Ray Robinson. And when he hit Ray Robinson with his best shot and he couldn't move Ray Robinson, and Ray Robinson kept coming and coming and coming, and Josh Kelly couldn't come up with any ideas, and he kept the ropes, he had no defense, and he was taking huge punches on the ropes, and he had no defense. You're going to do that against Avanesyan? Okay. I don't know what Adam Booth's seen. Unless Josh Kelly has got some form of defense now. The reason why they fancy the fight is because they know that if they put the pressure on Josh Kelly and they really stick it on him, Josh Kelly will run out of ideas. Josh Kelly's got only one way of fighting. But if that one way pulls off, that's great. But if that one way does not pull off, finish. So he's going to have to, he better hope that one way of fighting is going to help him against David Avanesyan, because as far as I'm concerned, Josh Kelly's still got Ray Robinson problems. He didn't want to take that rematch for all the greatness and how great that Josh Kelly is and how great Adam Booth thinks Josh Kelly is. They didn't take the rematch. They didn't take the rematch against Ray Robinson, and the rematch was offered to them. Ray Robinson said the rematch was offered to him, didn't take it. And this guy is not as slick as Ray Robinson, but he's better on the inside than Ray Robinson, I think. So Josh Kelly's got his hands full. He's another one of those British fighters that zero could go on Saturday night. Could go. Kelly's going to have to show a mature performance, use his jab, use the angles intelligently, and not waste punches, pick his punches, time his shots. He'll have to do better than what Shane Mosley or Lamont Peterson did and try and stop Avanesyan. I think Avanesyan can get on the inside. He can do real damage on the inside. And once he gets on the inside, Kelly's going to have to show exactly all those things that Adam has been talking about. And can Avanesyan? I think he'll have to work Kelly over. But we'll see if Kelly's matured, whether it was just a bad night against Ray Robinson or whether he truly was exposed. And the way David Avanesyan is going to expose that is by putting him back under pressure, keeping Kelly's back against the ropes, not allowing him to get in the center of the ring and take control of the fight. Step to Kelly, don't give him any space, any room, and just stay on him, work the body, and work on the inside, and beat him up on the inside. As for Kelly, he's going to use those long arms, box, use the jab, keep Avanesyan at bay. When he gets Avanesyan up close, tie him up. You can't fight on the inside. You're going to get outgunned on the inside. Stay on the outside. Use your jab, box, pick him up with jabs. Keep turning Avanesyan. Keep turning him. Using the jab, using your range, using your height and your reach. Do those things. Don't try and have a war with this guy. If you try and have a war with this guy, you're going to come off second best. Telling you now, you'll come off second best. The way Avanesyan, if he's as sharp as he was in his last fight, if he's that sharp, you know what I mean, and COVID hasn't got in the way, then, you know, Josh Kelly's got his hands full on the night. Now, if Kelly beats Avanesyan on the night, it's a good performance. It's a good performance. It's a good performance. But I'm leaning towards Avanesyan based on the Ray Robinson fight. I'm leaning towards Avanesyan because of the lack of ability to fight on the inside by Josh Kelly, and I'm also leaning because he seems to fight very one-paced. He doesn't need to have another gear. When he's got that one gear and that's it, he didn't seem to be able to shift out of that gear when he fought Ray Robinson. I believe fighters fighting patterns, and I don't think there's too much to a Josh Kelly story. I just don't. But I'm waiting to be proved wrong with a sensational performance that backs up what Adam Booth's been saying for so long, that Josh Kelly is the best fighter he's ever worked with. I have to disagree with you, Adam. I have to say that David Haye is probably the best fighter you've worked with. Next to that would be George Groves. Then you can put, because these guys are proven fighters. These guys have been world champions. Josh Kelly hasn't. And Josh Kelly hasn't even fought in world class. Well, he fought Ray Robinson. And he got beat by Ray Robinson. So if you look at it, Josh Kelly's lost one fight already, in my mind. But hey, that's just my opinion, just my thoughts. Remember Booth, blame Perez that it's Trish Dixon podcast saying he fell into drinking coming from Cuba. Does David need to stop Kelly to win? Hello, with guys like Booth in it, and Virgil coming up as well, don't see Kelly beating either. Yeah. See, I know how to spot a good fighter. Boots Innes did his first UK interview with who? You know who. I had him on. I think I had Boots Innes in twice or three times on this channel. Boots Innes. So yeah, we spot him early. But yeah, I just don't. I don't see Josh Kelly being. I just don't. Can you see him beating the likes of Keith Thurman, even a washed-up Thurman? Can you see Kelly beating like Pacquiao? Can you see Kenny beating Sean Porter or Errol Spence? Are you joking? Are you serious? I don't know what world championship that Booth's talking about, because the current crop, he ain't beating Spence, he ain't beating Pacquiao, so I don't know where he's going, and he definitely beating Terrence Crawford, so I don't know where he's going with that. I don't know where the Booth's going with that world title shot. He might get a world title shot. He ain't winning no world title. I don't care how big he is for the weight. Jesus Christ. Imagine Josh Kelly versus Sean Porter. Oh, Lord. I don't. Anyway, I wish Josh Kelly the very best tomorrow night or Saturday night against Avanesyan. He has to stop Avanesyan for him to look to be a world-class performance for me. He's got to stop Avanesyan. You understand? I don't want to go points and be in a hard fight. No. You've got to stop Avanesyan, and you've got to look impressive doing it. Behind the jab, mature performance. So what I want to see from Kelly, mature performance, behind the jab, boxing, holding your ground, using your jab, backing Avanesyan up, not allowing him to work. I want to see pivots at the right times. I don't want to see clowning on the ropes, you dropping your hands and being, doing immature things on the ropes. You look like you're a mature man now. You look like you're focused. You look that way. I don't know if you are, but you look mature. But anybody can look mature. Look, I look mature and ain't shaved. It looks mature, but fight night is when it matters, ultimately. Let's see what it says here. It says, but this and past era looked phenomenal against the elite opposition, not against the initial fights, and then mediocre against the elite opposition. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. This guy looks like he's been exposed already by Ray Robinson. I may say that Ray Robinson put a better performance on against the Green Machine than Crawford did. Josh Kelly, matchroom, Waitrose, matchroom, boxing, show on point if lucky. I think against Sean Porter, Kelly would look like Broner when Porter fought him. Possibly worse than that. Worse than that. Because Kelly can't, when his back's against ropes, he doesn't know what to do. He can't fight. Some fighters can fight with the back against ropes. They'll roll shots. They'll tie a man up on the inside. They'll just slip. They'll throw the uppercuts inside. Do you understand? They'll do certain things. They'll tuck up. That's why they're putting the back is against ropes. So what you can do when you're on the ropes, you're there and you can roll out off the ropes. So this is the way out the ring. This is the way out, yeah? This is the way out. Fighter's got you and you can roll out. So you roll, as you roll, you turn the fighter and then the fighter's on the ropes. Do you see that? So here you are on the ropes here. And then what you could do, you could roll out and the fighter's there. So you turn, put the pressure on. A guy like Karen Smith, when he's on the ropes, it just does that, right? Just does that. And he's not a guy who's going to counter punch off the ropes. Floyd's a guy that will sit on the ropes, he'll shoulder roll, and he'll throw the uppercut on the inside. Do you understand? He might either short right hand or a little left hook. Those guys will fight off the ropes. Apparently, there was some beef with the camps night in the bubble. Yeah, there's always beef in the camps. Migos Cotto T-bar defense is what kept Canelo from blitzing him on the ropes. Kelly doesn't have that. I know. Kelly lost. Josh Kelly lost. That's true. Put that up there. Josh Kelly lost Robinson in America. Where rematch him? Match was full of bull. I know. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't understand where. I'm still baffled as to how Adam Booth can look down the camera and say that Josh Kelly is the most talented fighter he's ever worked with. I don't get it. Don't get it. Dan man and David Hagan, blistering hand speed and power and athleticism. And he could have been even better still if he taught how to fight more than just that sharpshooting star. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Kelly versus Avanesyan. I'm looking for Avanesyan to get on the inside of Kelly. I'm overwhelmed Kelly, and maybe even force a stoppage. That's what I'm looking. And Booth said that, and Booth was awake and under the influence. I don't know, but that's what he keeps saying. Oh, Josh Kelly's the most talented fighter I've ever worked with. Mate, really? Mate, I bet when you say that, you must go in the toilet and laugh afterwards, mate. I'm not knocking Josh Kelly. I'm not saying Josh Kelly is not a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter. I just don't think. I think there's unnecessary hype, and the young man's got to learn certain things. And the Ray Robinson fight would have been the fight where you said, you know what, son, you're not as good as you think you are, or we're not as good as we think we are. We need to take a step back and make some adjustments. If you haven't made those adjustments, those Ray Robinson problems are going to come back. And Avanesyan, a man that don't mess about. He's a man that don't mess about. He don't mess about. He's going to take you to school and take you apart. David at cruiserweight reminded me of such a great in the making, but I think injuries in camp, another thing finishing off, maybe the partying and the lifestyle probably with David. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the card. If you haven't already checked out the videos, check out my video with Ryan Charlton versus Fabian Marcoux. Check out my thoughts on Josh Warrington's comeback in the summer. His rematch against Lara in the summer. Absolute madness. If there's any videos you want me to do, because sometimes I just don't know what to talk about, so I just don't bother. If there's any particular videos or fights you want me to talk about, I'm more than happy to talk about. Yeah. Matchroom card is trash. No, I think it's a decent card. I know I've seen some cards that are trash. I think this is a good card. It's like when Katie Telly on TV was being compared to Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, and the others. I said, put down the bottle. She's good, but let's not go to drugs. Get on drugs. I know. It took Carl Thompson for Hay to make changes. Yep. Well, it might take Avanesyan to make changes. But here's my reasons why I'm backing Avanesyan. Why I think Avanesyan can win. He's just a better inside fighter, and he puts pressure by the way he fights. He's no nonsense. He gets to work first round, ding, ding, bang, out of the jab. You know, none of this feeding out process, looking and all this garbage. Straight out, first round, bang, this is what I've got to do. Get behind the jab and put a pace on. I like that about him. There's not a lot of fighters in the world that I see that go about their pace in that fashion. Right on it, first round, bang, I'm on it. I'm on it straight away. And that's what I like about Avanesyan. He's on it straight away. What I mean by on it is it's like I want to say poetry in motion, but it's like I said, just like doing business. Straight, what's the bottom line? What do I have to pay? This is what I've got to do. I'm gonna get out there and do it. I like the way he goes about business. Sky commentary for Warrington fight was as gracious it was. How many reasons did they come with straight out? Well, you know, the fans weren't in the arena. I don't know, COVID. Warrington hadn't fought for a year. All the usual crap. Oh yeah, he's a family man now with a child. Jesus Christ. David Avanesyan comes forward and applies pressure. Josh Kelly's not used to not dictating the pace. That's what I'm saying to you. He's going to have Ray Robinson problems again in this fight. He should have taken the defeat to Ray Robinson, and that's why I say about Matchroom not developing their fighters. So, yeah, if I can get a hold of Ray Robinson, I'll have a chat with him about this fight as well. So, all right, I think I'm done with this. Hope you've enjoyed the videos. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe button. I'm out of here. Take care.